Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis update for commodities. I'm going to jump right in and give you guys my financial opinion. So let's dive in here. I'm going to start with the dollar. The dollar was lower by 0.6%. Pretty big move. It is a bearish engulfing pattern, which means that it engulfs the day before it. Sometimes this shows us that it's a topping pattern where we could potentially head lower in the short term. We do also have a wick at the top, right at that resistance line, showing us that we've kind of hit our head. Now, how sustaining will this pullback be? That is unknown, but it looks like we want to head lower in the short term. 10-year yield, we had a bearish engulfing here. We headed lower, and then we came into a bullish engulfing here, which means that we headed higher. Small selling pressure. I do think that we're going to head higher here in the 10-year yields in the short term. The CRB index heading higher today. That's looking a lot better than what we've been in. Still a lot of momentum to the downside here that needs to get worked off. Gold heading a little bit lower today. We are still in a downtrend. We still got these big sell-off candlestick days through here. So we still have a lot of momentum that needs to get worked off from that downward movement. Silver going up a little bit today. We're right at support at that $18.20 mark. Looking at that from a long-term perspective, that's where that support level is running across. It's a very strong support level. We've got platinum slightly higher today. Again, we've got this long-term basically bouncing off the cost curve of platinum. And we're down there at $850 an ounce. We still have some momentum behind this. There's our momentum coming down. We bounced a little bit. I think we still have some more bounces moving sideways, I'll call it, before heading higher. XAU to gold ratio. The ratio still needs to break this long-term downtrend line. We still have a lot of work to do. We are making higher lows in the ratio, though. So that is the good thing. GDX. Looking at some of the ETFs, still pulling back, still has good downside momentum. That has not changed. SILJ, flat day today. Again, we still have downside momentum in this, and we haven't broken that downtrend yet. Looking at crude oil. Crude oil heading higher today, 1.87%. We still have downside momentum. If you were to look at this from a little bit longer term perspective, we've got a little bit of a wick at the bottom, not enough to call it a hammer candlestick yet. On the weekly candlesticks, it's putting in a hammer candlestick. But we need more buying pressure for me to be convinced that oil is going to go higher in the short term. But it's trying. It's trying here. We have to see how this month closes out. Natural gas getting a nice, good, solid move higher. Looking good from a daily candlestick perspective. On the monthlies, we do have this bounce here, but we've got this massive selling pressure last month. So it's going to take some time to reverse that, I think. XOP, yeah, you know me. Little hammer candlestick on the monthlies. We've got nice, good, strong support at this white line going back all the way till 2008 bottom. So I do think there's a lot of support underneath XOP. And I think that down here would be a good spot to be looking at specific companies. If you want to know what companies I am buying and the companies that I really like, definitely subscribe to the website in the description link below, Platinum membership, if you want to know what those companies are. Energy service companies, we're heading back down. It's still downside momentum. And looking at it from a longer term perspective, we still have more work to do on this month to get back up and get a little hammer candlestick here to show that we're putting in a little bottom. But that work, it still needs to be put in. This is on the weekly basis. We still have some selling pressure left in this thing at this time. Looking at uranium, $46 a pound roughly. It has been selling off. I do think that we could potentially have a little bit more downside left in this thing. There's the monthlies, and I do think we could head a little bit lower before heading higher, just by looking at these candlesticks and the selling pressure in these candlesticks. But that could change. This is on a monthly candlestick, and we could change throughout this month if we were to get some buying pressure towards the end of this month here. That could easily change. Looking at the Sprott Physical Uranium Trust on the daily candlesticks, we're right on that support zone. That's where we're getting support. Looking at URNM, nice little up day, finished strong, but we're still right on this kind of long-term support level right here. We're on support. CCJ, just looking at one of the larger companies just to give some more information. We have an up day today, but the momentum is heading a little bit lower. We still have a lot of work cut out ahead of us for me to say that this is necessarily a bottom and that we're definitely heading higher. But there's been some really strong moves. Canalaska is up 34% on some news. I didn't look into the news, but that was up quite a bit today. And there's a couple others that were up. ALX also had some up at 20% today. Looking at copper, COPX ETF, still in a downtrend movement. I have not seen this turn around yet. No bottoming type candlesticks at this moment. We are getting a little bit less of the size of the pullback here. They are contracting some, so that's kind of the beginning stages. I got to see some buying pressure in here before I get convinced that we are definitely turning the corner. Looking at rare earth metals ETF, REMX. Getting a little bit of buying pressure here. We're right at the support line. We got to hold this, otherwise we could see further downside pressure. Lithium, LIT. Again, I don't see the big buying pressure here yet. So we had a big move lower, and it's kind of contracting up. It makes me think that we want to roll over again and head a little bit lower. The S&P 500, definitely nice, strong day today. Will we break this downtrend line? That's still yet to be determined, but it's a nice, beautiful day today. I like the candlestick, finished strong. The U.S. Composite Index also finishing strong today, breaking out of its downtrend. The next step that we need to do is break this high there and close above it somewhere up here. So that's the next step for me to be convinced that this is actually a bottoming type move and that we're heading higher in a short-term movement to the upside. Emerging markets, EEM, still in this downtrend. The dollar is not treating this very well, but the dollar was lower. Are we putting in a bottoming type pattern in this? We very well could be, but it's early to tell if this thing is actually bottoming or not. XHB, the Home Builders Index, we've broken the downtrend line barely. I wouldn't say this is a victory right now. We got to close above it and get some momentum to the upside for this to start moving on up and getting a little bit more confidence in it. Lumber pulling back a little bit, still looks bullish to me. The down days are real small and compact. Cocoa futures looking a little bit better. Looking like it's just trying to turn around here. Still in a downtrend though. Wheat still selling off in a downtrend that does not look very strong. Soybeans down in a downtrend does not look very strong. And corn futures look like it's rolling over. It wants to head lower here, I think, for that. So all of those look pretty bearish. And copper itself, the futures contracts still heading lower. Still a lot of fear in the market. Recessionary fears are still out there. We could see a recession in front of us or be in one. I definitely think that could be the case as copper continues to head lower. Looking at MU, Agra Business ETF, we're still in a downtrend here, getting a little bit more buying pressure. The size of the down candlesticks, notice that they're big here. I should just circle the whole top here. They're big here. The size of the candlesticks are smaller here. They're getting smaller here, and they're getting smaller here. So I think the buyers are starting to equal the sellers. The size of this move is starting to slow down. We're coming into more buying pressure. So it's trying to make a turn. It's not ripe yet, but it's starting to equalize the buyers and sellers more so than in the past. So that's trying to put in a bottom. Aluminum's also trying to put in a bottom. It's starting to contract down and try to turn. And let's do the weeklies. And you can see the little guys down here. We're still trying to make that turn. Haven't been successful yet. And Baltic Dry Index up a little bit on the weekly candlestick. We're down a little bit, but that's looking like it's trying to turn. I'm seeing a lot of big up candles or up days today in a lot of the companies. So that looks like it's trying to turn around as well. So we do have some life that we're trying to turn around in some of these areas. Natural gas is probably the strongest of the bunch. Uranium, it's trying, but I don't know if it's got enough oomph in it to call it a bottom yet. So we're trying to put in bottoms, but I think we're just still early, and it's going to take some time before we bottom out and start heading higher. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Subscribe to the website if you'd like, and the Platinum membership. It's in the description link below, the link. And we'll catch you next time. This is Finding Value.